What's up guys, this is Coach Donny with ElevateYourself.org. Welcome to my volleyball coach's reaction to Haikyuu Season 1, Episode 15. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer that provides volleyball tutorials, jump training videos, and other cool volleyball content. And you can find those playlists linked in the description box. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell so you never miss a video. We just released our Elevate Athletic Tee 2.0 design, which is an updated version of the original Elevate Athletic Tee that was made 4 years ago. It has a bigger logo in the front to make it even bolder, with the Elevate text in the back, giving you extra superpowers to elevate yourself. Order your shirt today with a link in the description box while supplies last. I changed the title of my last reaction video to put the shorter spelling of Haikyuu first in hopes of getting more traffic. Please let me know if that different title was more eye-catching for you. I'm glad you enjoy my thumbnails. I try to select my favorite scene from each episode and think of an expression that properly reacts to that scene, which is really hard to come up with a brand new expression every thumbnail. It's hilarious that you said this because my mom used to say this to me too. Maybe I'm already becoming more like my parents. No dating until college. Part of the reason why I talk slowly and carefully in my videos is because only 25% of my audience is actually from the USA. The rest is from outside of the USA, but we got fans from India, Philippines, Australia, Germany, UK, Malaysia, Brazil, Singapore, Vietnam, and so on. As you can see, more than half my audience is not from English-speaking countries, so I try to speak in a way that's easy to understand, but I usually don't talk like this in person. Someone asked a great question from my last reaction video about what my most satisfying moment was in my volleyball career as a player and coach. There are so many great ones that it's hard to choose from, and I've had many as a player and as a coach, so I'll just share one as a player. The most satisfying moment for me was when I was playing at San Jose State University and UC Davis was traveling to play us at our home gym. UC Davis was not only one of the top teams in our conference that year, but they were also very tall and athletic. Both of their middles were 6'8" and 6'9". They ran a 6-2 offense where their opposites were 6'5" and 6'6", and their main outside hitter played at Stanford University for their men's varsity team during his undergraduate studies, and he was 6'6", and his name was Dave. So remember that name throughout this story. Now, my team was also very good, but in a different way. Our middles were 6'3" and 6 feet. Our outside hitters were 6 feet and 5'10", which was me. And we ran a 5-1 offense where our setter was only 5'7" and our opposite hitter was 6'2". We were very short for collegiate men's volleyball standards, but we were super scrappy, worked very hard, played smart, and most importantly, had very high confidence. I remember clearly when we were starting our team warm-up, the UC Davis team is walking into our gym, and Dave from UC Davis looks at our team and says, "All right, let's just get this over with and go home." Our team looks at each other and says, "Oh hell yeah, it's on." On paper, UC Davis was a better team because they were higher ranked, had a better league record, and had more athletic and taller players, but they didn't have our swag.
Every day I'm hustling.
The match was a back and forth battle with tons of amazing plays, and we ended up beating them in 5 sets. I remember playing one of my best games and scoring over 20 kills, which was awesome because I was going up against 6'5" and 6'6" opposite blockers. A few of my friends from 9-Man actually played on UC Davis's team, and we hung out after the game. They told me that their coach was getting so frustrated in the middle of the match, and he specifically asked them why they couldn't block that short outside hitter, which was me. This was one of the most satisfying experiences in my playing career because we upset a higher ranked team that not only talked trash to us, but they underestimated us, I had one of my best collegiate performances ever, and I personally pissed off their coach, which made it that much more satisfying. Unfortunately, this took place all the way back in 2007, before there were advanced camera phones, because I really wish I could have recorded so many of my games. Maybe in the next video, I'll share my most satisfying moment as a coach. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear about that story. If you've been enjoying my reaction videos, please consider supporting Elevate Yourself by joining my Patreon linked below, where you'll also receive exclusive content like monthly live Q&A sessions, monthly podcasts, my private blog, behind the scenes access, and more. Now let's get this Haikyuu party started. Ooh, flashback to that epic scene where they revealed the fly poster from Shimizu. Yeah, such beautiful writing. Love Asian style calligraphy. I wonder what that steam out of the eyes means. I love this pumped up. Usually I don't like getting amped up all the time, but this is great right before a tournament to really unify the team and get that high energy going. Why do they sound so down? Maybe it's just early in the morning and they're tired. And Asahi's got a sweat mark down his cheek. Oh, okay. That's right, these are the group of upperclassmen, and this is their last inter-high school tournament together. It's cool to see Suga being a little more firm, another dimension to his personality. $120%. His power level's over 9,000. It's not good to get ahead of yourself. Don't talk about already winning the second round. It's interesting that he's a lot more stern with his peers, and the underclassmen he's a little more nurturing and fatherly like. Alright, this is the new intro that you guys were talking about, so we're gonna watch this. Ooh, that's a cool little intro animation for... the asphalt animation looks so real. Meditating or absorbing the sun? Ooh, that's a cool one. All those shoes lining up. Oh, crazy Tanaka, man, showing his shark teeth. These are like very standard anime scenes where you got the Gundam, wings flying, people flashing their swords. I love it. Love the gamesmanship, the sportsmanship. There's the K-pop setter with his good serve. But Nishinoya passed it like nothing, and Hinata's going crazy and running all over the place. That's really hard to do, to run a left side attack from the center of the court, by the way. I don't know why he's grabbing the sun, maybe because he feels energy from the sun. And Kageyama's probably scolding him or encouraging him, that he's been doing that more recently. Ooh, that's a beautiful shot. Good spiking form. That was a really cool intro. Definitely liked it better than the first one. Here's another example of this team talking about their opponent and underestimating them. And here's another thing I hear commonly from both adult and high school teams. The first thing they tend to talk about is height. And if a team has a lot of tall players, then they get intimidated. And if a team has a bunch of short players, they start to relax. But they don't realize that smaller teams usually tend to have really good defense. And that can surprise a lot of teams. And tall teams might look great in hitting lines, but if they cannot pass, they cannot set up their offense. So here's another conversation that you should definitely interrupt if your teammates are having, because the mindset should always be, doesn't matter who we're playing, doesn't matter how tall or short they are, we should expect them to be the best team in the tournament, and therefore we should put our best effort and play like they are the best team in the tournament. Yeah, then you got them talking about how mediocre they've been. But this type of volleyball talk is kind of fun when people start to talk about other schools and other teams, because at least it shows that they're interested in what's going on. Torino. And then Karasuno's walking up right behind them as they're talking about them. Fallen Powerhouse Flightless Ravens. I wonder if Ravens means crows. I wonder if Tanaka's gonna come out and beat him up. Ah, there he is! Go get him, Tanaka. At least Tanaka is respectful to his leaders and upperclassmen. Here's another example of where you combine the beauty of illustration and animation together. I remember when I first applied for the animation illustration program at San Jose State, which was super competitive, by the way. I think they only accepted 20 or 30 people per year, or maybe per semester if they had room, and they had over 400 to 500 applicants, so it was pretty competitive. I always wondered, why would they create a double major between illustration and animation? Why not just have illustration or animation, because those subjects are already hard enough. But here we see the beauty of where we combine the two. So you need an illustrator to really go into great detail on illustrating these beautiful backdrop scenes. And then you look at these paintings where they actually look like real paintings. You see how they have those soft Rembrandt edges for those artists out there. And then perspective of these buildings take a lot of effort and accuracy and detail to be able to illustrate. And then you need your animators to obviously animate movement and have them walk down that hall. And it really complements the scene well when the animators and illustrators work well together. Even though the background is a still scene and only one image, illustrating this image can actually take as long as animating this 5-second walking scene. That's why it's good to have a double major in both, because you might have to do one or the other. And also, if you're an animator, it helps you work better with your illustrator and vice versa. It's another really cool backdrop as they're walking through the hallway. Ooh. What's the big deal with Asahi? Oh, this is funny. Oh, because it's so big. I was caught off guard when the players were gossiping about Asahi, and I was thinking, no, Asahi's a good guy, right? He can't be doing all these bad things. But after they revealed what was actually going on, this is a great example of how people can just have a crazy interpretation of what's truly going on. And this is so accurate of tournament talk, right? You get all these high school kids together and all they want to do is talk about each other. And 80% of the time, the things that they assume about other teams are an exaggeration or a misinterpretation of what's really going on. The sad thing is that adults actually do this too, just to a slightly lesser degree. Gossiping about players can become detrimental, especially with social media now, because having rumors that can spread on the internet, especially with something that's not even true, can really hurt somebody. So I want to challenge you guys out there who are on volleyball teams that if you do hear gossip and the stories that they're spreading aren't even confirmed, or even if they're just negative stories about somebody, don't be afraid to stand up and say, hey, you wouldn't want people saying those things about you, so let's not try to do the same to them. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, people are going to talk crap about you no matter what, so do your best to just ignore them. Is that why he's got his man bun? He's just a big, stocky, muscular guy. Yes. Look at his t-shirt and his hair. Oh, there you go. I dare you to say hi. Oh. They're protecting her. Oh, that's so hilarious. Even her trash is treasure to all the boys. Just don't call him the king. Oh, they almost did. The little guy. This is the guy I think they said he doesn't even look like he's in high school. That's such a cute expression. He's just happy to be there, absorbing every moment. I have a confession to make. This is a great image of how I actually still feel when I'm at a volleyball tournament. Especially when I go to the biggest tournament of the year, which is USAV Nationals. I love just being in that atmosphere and just soaking every moment in. I feel like a kid in a candy store. And it's crazy that I'm 35 years old. I've been playing volleyball for a little over 20 years now, and I still get that giddy feeling. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. I just love volleyball so much, and I know many of you do as well. If you want to learn what it's like to be at the USAV National Tournament, I actually made a few vlogs about my experience there, which I'll link for you in the description box. The top. Ooh, is that a slogan or is that the team name? Man. Yeah, smell it. Smell the gym, smell the volleyball court, smell the volleyballs. That's right. Volleyball gyms have a distinct smell. Whoa. The man with the white hair. Monster blocker. He has no eyebrows. I wonder if he shaves them or if that's just genetically how he was born. Oh, this scene reminds me of Bloodsport. You are next. It's like a robot. I love it. This guy's like, I am going to shut you down. I choose you. Tanaka can take him out. He tried to act tough. There you go. Fake it till you make it. Good job, Asahi. I love it when the shortest player calls out the biggest player and says, you gotta toughen up. Former teammate. I'm excited to see what dynamic is gonna happen between them. Maybe bigger, bigger in personality, presence, confidence. This statement is more than just his friend saying, you grew up. Even though he's probably physically the same height and the same stature compared to when they last saw each other, confidence is an energy that you give off. It's not a huge physical change, it's more of a mental and emotional mindset that changes. It affects the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, the way you view yourself and treat others, the way you inspire people. Having self-confidence is one of the single most important skills to develop in life. And yes, I did call it a skill because confidence can be practiced. Very few people are naturally born with it. The rest of us have to practice that mental and emotional skill. Whenever we think of practicing a skill, we often think of it just as physical skills, like practicing how to pass or how to throw a baseball. But there are actually mental, emotional, and spiritual skills that we can practice. If you look at monks, they are practicing their spiritual skills all the time, as well as mental and emotional. I used to be a very low confidence person. It wasn't until I turned 19 did I become so sick of just having low confidence and feeling insecure about myself and wishing I could be better, did I finally make a choice to change myself. And that actually first started with my mental skill. I had to learn how to be better at self-talking. I didn't realize that a lot of times I had low confidence because I was always putting myself down mentally and comparing myself mentally to other people. I would literally tell myself, I'm not going to be good because I'm shorter than him, or I'm not as good looking as him, or she's not going to like me because I have acne. I learned that I had to start talking to myself in a more positive and affirming way. It's not like I'm going to lie to myself, like saying, I am 7 feet tall, or I am the best looking person in the world. I would have to change things like, I do have qualities that are good enough to attract the girl that I like. My height is my advantage because I can be faster on the court and it's easy for me to see the block to tool it. And once I started improving my self-talk, then I worked on the other skills like the emotional and physical skills. But I do believe it does start with your mentality and how you talk to yourself. You're so intense. I love it. Daichi, it means he's focused. He's there for a purpose. This is a low confidence person. It's a choice that you make. Having confidence is a choice that you make. I don't believe what he said. He wasn't very convincing. Ooh, they have girls teams here too. I wonder if they're ever going to make a Haikyuu girls high school volleyball version. I would love to watch that. Oh, this is Miya. Everything starts with belief. Yeah, so you can't do anything about what just happened. Just focus on the now. We'll see if that's enough to pump them up to be the best they can be, even though they didn't train as hard. Uh-oh. The Hinata jitters. What's Kageyama gonna do? Grab him in the head? He just called him out. He's cowardly too. That's a cool tactic. Think about the scariest thing. Serving at the back of Hinata's head. Or it's Kageyama's head. Oh, the ring. That's pretty freaky. Yes! Yes! He pulled out that memory. And he's deeply engrossed in that flashback. Enough time to visualize. I love it. Be the first one in the gym, the first one to set up the net, the first one to warm up. I always tell my team, just be the first. Just don't be the first to lose. Oh, Shimizu. Oh, first try, underhand serve. That's from all that ball handling. I knew she had some skill. Hold your ambition. Hold your ambition in front. I'll have to think about what that means. Oh, it's such a cool looking gym. Plenty of space between the courts. That's very rare, at least in USA high schools. I feel like all the courts are always crowded. Oh, she gonna put out the banner? Oh yeah! Fly. One thing that makes Ukai great for Karasune is got crazy hair. Oh, is this the team with the K-pop setter? Yes, it is. Got vegetable head. Of course, he's gonna be late with this boy band. How did I know? Gotta talk to his fan club. This is where coaches need to provide rules. If you don't show up, you don't play. They made cookies for him? Oh, he's tall and good looking. That's a lethal combo, and athletic. No wonder the girls are swarming him. Yes! Oh, I love that teammate. Oh, I love that Akuma level. I wonder if that's the captain. He's able to convince him to come here without even talking. Turn up head. It's that nice trash talking. But then their team also puts K-pop in his place. Oh, that's right. This is a totally different team because they have 2 new additions since they last played them. And they have a coach. That's 3 big pieces. The only way you can know how good they are is to watch them, which is what they're doing. So that's something I encourage all of you to do, whether you're a coach or a player. During an off time, a lot of people will just chit chat, have fun, and relax, which I think is okay here and there. But one thing that's great about tournaments is using the downtime to scout other teams and watch them. The more information you get about other teams ahead of time, the bigger advantage you're going to have at the beginning of the game. And this is especially important for tournaments because if you can beat a team 25 to 15, just do it. Because you have to play 5 or 6 total matches throughout the tournament, so you have to save energy. Let's say I didn't take a game seriously, I didn't warm up properly, and I didn't watch them, so I don't know what their patterns are. I might beat them 25 to 23 instead of 25 to 15. And yes, that's still a win, but in the context of the entire tournament, you have to conserve energy so that you can finish as high as you can. And also, watching other teams, you can just learn so much about how to improve your game when you can see other people performing skills better than you. I wonder if this is Takeda's first tournament. Yeah, being nervous just means you care. Yeah, counting when blocking, that's a great way to establish blocking rhythm. Ooh, he's glaring at them, I love it. He's very determined, that's right. One goal in mind. Captain! Are they gonna shake hard? No, that's a soft, warm handshake. Cool shirts. Who has the black shoes? Ooh, and when a team all has the same shoes, I love that. That's intimidating. That also shows team. And not everyone can afford the same shoes. It's cool to see everyone line up so you get to see how tall everyone is relative to each other. The Karasuno female team. Oh, imagine if they did another Haikyuu version, but with Hinata's younger sister playing for Karasuno. The Iron Wall, that's right, they are the blocking specialist. I think I learned that from accidentally watching from season 4. Ooh. I love these flying references. Usually he goes on these long-winded speeches, but this is a very concise way to talk. He just wants to be the volleyball poet. Yeah, these overhead views are awesome. Trust in your training. That's the only thing you have control over. Trust in your training. Oh yeah, start underestimating Hinata and he's gonna kill you with speed. They're not gonna know what hits them, because if you haven't seen this before, it's gonna be too late to adjust to it. That, I think Dateko, I think they know. Is that Dateko's team? Yeah. Set up Hinata first. Set up your fast, quick set. Or give it to your most aggressive player. Oh, that first point. I know exactly what that feels like. Your first point feels like you already won. but you don't want to get overamped. That's a team with so much personality. I love it. I'm not gonna serve. Oh, he's gonna get covered, of course, by Nishinoya. He's got that knee slide. Oh, he's gonna crush it against that triple block. Let's go, big boy. Compress the ball. Ooh, right over the top. That old guy's oh, hilarious. These are all the gossips that can get to you. Of course, K-pop is acting too cool for school. Not interested, even though he really is inside, because he's competitive. Yeah, little innocent Hinata. I want to hit. Beautiful. Every time Nishinoya passes, it's really beautiful form. It's very fluid how it's animated, but the poses he achieves are not just to look cool, but they're actually very functional. Ideally, you always want to try to get both feet behind the ball because you're going to be the most balanced and have the most control. But the higher level you play at, the faster the ball moves, and the less likely you can actually get both feet behind the ball. A common mistake that a lot of players make is they just end up reaching with their arms if they can't get both feet there. But as long as you get one knee behind the ball, you're going to have that same stability and body weight behind your pass. So here's a technique that I call step and shoot. You're going to step and form the angle of your platform all at the same time, versus stepping and then swinging, or forming your platform and then stepping. And finally, Nishinoya does a great job dropping his inside shoulder, which is his left shoulder, to angle it back to the center of the court, which is where the setter is. So if you can't get both legs behind the ball, at least get one knee behind the ball to maximize your control on a fast moving ball. Oh, Hinata time. Flying crow time. Oh, I love that. What a beautiful imagery here with that feather flying. That's such a great imagery. They didn't do a crazy pattern though. Ooh, lightning fast. Everyone's shocked. And that was just a straight ahead approach. Hinata was just fully committed. He didn't do his crazy zigzag patterns. Even K-pop is impressed. Oh, floating down. What an awesome scene here. Wow. Let's watch that again. Love how he's floating down like a bird that gently floats into the floor. And then you got that feather in front. This is artwork in motion. Beautiful. Ooh, raw animation sketches. A new end scene. Gosh, I really hope the copyright bot doesn't pick up on this music. That's why I try to increase the background music a little louder. Oh, it's a different style of animation, kind of like more of a childish illustration here. Interesting that they use a mixture of the Mikasa and the Molten Balls, two very different volleyballs. And this is why Kageyama is so good, because he just practices a lot by himself. Serving is one thing requires no practice partner or no gym. You could just serve against the wall. I think it's interesting that this end scene is highlighting only Kageyama. Usually they highlight Hinata. But Kageyama is just as important as a character. I like J-pop. I miss listening to it. That's got to be Hinata who hit him in the back of the head. Come on, turn around. Scare him. Oh, but inside, he's a good man. Here's my immediate reaction to episode 15. It's been really great to see how Karasuno has been evolving as a team, adding new members, finally getting a coach, and then bringing back 2 veteran players, and on top of that, training really hard to eventually showcase the new Karasuno team at this tournament. And that's one of the best feelings in the world, is when your training actually pays off. What was great about this episode is how it dived deep into the non-volleyball aspects of tournaments, which is the gossip, the inter-team mingling, the smell of the gym, how amped players get, and how every team is actually watching each other. Now, if you're an adult and never played high school volleyball, you can still have that experience for yourself by signing up for adult volleyball tournaments and leagues. It's never too late to start playing volleyball. There are volleyball players that are playing in their 70s and 80s, and the great thing about volleyball compared to basketball is that it is a non-contact sport. You still require a lot of power, strength, and speed like basketball, but because there's a net and it does not require you to contact the other player, it's a lot easier on your body and less chance for injury compared to basketball. One of the best volleyball players I've met didn't start playing until he was 24 years old. Every time there's a scene that involves Shimizu, it's always one of the funniest scenes in the whole episode. Like when Shimizu was walking down the hall and then the other teams were talking about, should I talk to her? And then immediately some of the players from Karasuno were surrounding her and protecting her, and that was hilarious. One thing you notice about Team Josai is how they are spending their time when they're not playing, which is watching and studying other teams, which I talked about earlier in this episode. And that goes back to working on other skills other than simply your physical skills. When you're watching other teams play and studying other players, you're working on your mental skills. And the best volleyball players are actually not those that can hit the hardest, pass the best, or jump the highest, although those do help a lot. The best volleyball players usually have the best understanding of the game and know how to use their physical gifts at the right time. You can tell that Karasuno is definitely growing more confident because they ran that quick play with Hinata like it was nothing, and they knew it was going to work. And as soon as they ran that successful quick play with Hinata, everyone was blown away and impressed except for Karasuno, because they know what they're capable of. And that's what you call confidence. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video. Don't forget to buy your new Elevate Athletic Tee 2.0 while supplies last by visiting the Elevate apparel store linked in the description box. If you would like to support Elevate yourself and receive access to exclusive volleyball content, make sure you sign up for my Patreon linked below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.